course.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I was joking. I don't think it was coming after you.
I'm worried now.
I just want to get the manager from I don't know, Cap City or something to just come up and put his hand on the mic. Yeah. Just, excuse me.
I can almost guarantee Cap City's paying ASCAP.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
I mean, TNM pays ASCAP.
Yeah.
Every theater that they're aware of that plays music in between sets has to pay for it.
Yeah.
Because, like, everything, except for, like, maybe one or two things, everything that's on the TNM stage is created by the people that are probably on that stage.
Yeah.
Or somebody within the theater.
Yeah.
They're not doing somebody's other stuff, but we still got called for the ASCAP stuff because we play music on Spotify in between the things.
Yeah, you have show music.
Yeah. And it was like, what? No. So it was like either that or we need a band that's just for us. So it was like, just pay the ASCAP.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Cheaper and easier.
It's a lot simpler. Yeah. And then we can use so much stuff under the guise of TNM, so it's good.
That's awesome.
Someone told me Bryan Cranston, right? He was on, oh my goodness, the Family Show. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Malcolm in the Middle?
Yeah, Malcolm in the Middle. Apparently, he was humming songs on there that he was making up, so he registered himself with, like, the union, the artist union or whatever it was, songwriters, so that they had to start paying him for all the songs that they were putting out there. So he ended up getting, like, checks for all these songs he just made up and started humming and would throw parties for cast and crew based off of, like, these, I don't know, couple $1,000 checks or whatever. Great.
What a
like,
wacko.
That's the, like,
so cool.
things you don't know about the business side of entertainment that, like, people can get you on.
Yeah.
That's real good.
Yeah. Were there any business gems that you've learned along the way about how to, I don't know, get it done or get gigs or get yourself ready? I know you talked about writing a cleaner set, but I wondered if there were any other sort of business things that you've learned along the way.
Responding to everything. Like if someone's like, hey, I've got this person that wants to talk to you about this thing, don't just write it off because you think it's something silly or you're not quite sure, you think it's a scam. Like, always look into it. I just did a festival this week that was like one of the best experiences I've ever had, and I thought it was a joke at first. I was like, you're gonna fly us and put us up and pay us? Yeah, okay. No, I'm not going to give you any of my information. This is ridiculous. And then a much smarter friend of mine decided to go. And I was like, well, she's going. She's an adult. I can trust this. And it turned out to be legit and wonderful, and it was the best.
Where'd you go?
I went to the Redwood Comedy Festival in Fortuna, California. 5 miles north of San Francisco in the Redwoods.
Ooh, beautiful.
And, like, the whole town came, and they were amazing. And it was at this, like, beautiful convention center on the side of, like, a riverbed next to some mountains. And we got to go to the Avenue of the Giants and see all the redwood trees. And I did my Sasquatch impression out there, and we filmed it. It's on my Instagram if you guys want to check it out. I finally got to do my Sasquatch impression in the redwoods. And we grained it up and put it in black and white, and it is, so good. It's really good. Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so glad that you, like, just kissed your fingers like that. That was so funny.
Sasquatch. I've been doing that. That used to be my closer, like my club closer. When I was like 20, 21 in San Antonio at like River Center and stuff, I would do my impression of Sasquatch.
When did you get started in all of it?
Like
slash how?
2000, like the end of 2008, early 2009.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, I guess I was like 19, 20 when I started.
Cool.
But I was an actor for a really long time.
Okay.
My mom was an actress, and I was raised in a children's theater in San Antonio. And then I was an actor kid, not like the one with like dance. Like, it wasn't like that. But, like, put this costume on and get out there,
not
kid.
Bond girl ass.
They weren't forcing me or anything. But that was really fun. And then I worked as an actress for the theater for a long time, for like 7 years. I was like a teacher there, and like was one of the counselors for their like summer camp program and after school with the kids and all sorts of stuff.
Which theater?
The Magic Theater in San Antonio. And then I did an open mic, and I just always loved comedy. Like Kids in the Hall was my favorite show when I was a kid, and like I watched every single SNL ever, and like we would tape it. Like I think we probably have like 15 years of backlog, like 90s SNL. Yeah, my mom's like, yeah, and like Mr. Show and all of that. Like it's all I wanted to do, you know. But I didn't have an outlet. All I did was just like act at this children's theater, which was wonderful and a great experience. But when I did my first open mic, I was like, man, this rules so hard. And I just slowly, I think I did comedy for like 2 years while I was still working there, and then it made its way into my body, and I couldn't stop doing it. So I left the theater and moved here to tell jokes. Left a good job doing art to come here and sell beer to drunk people and tell jokes to drunk people. But it's worked out so far. It's all right. Yeah. I feel like it was a good choice. Yeah. At first it was pretty dumb, but I think I did okay. No, I still get to tell jokes, and I haven't been run out of the town, so I'm fine.
What's the longest you've held on to a joke? I'm just curious, like, how long you cycle through stuff? Yeah. I don't do stand-up comedy, so.
There are some that, like, I still do that you can, like, bring back, like, you know, you're doing a certain kind of show. Like, if you're doing, like, a corporate gig or something, you're like, oh, that would be perfect. And you bring it back and it's, like, 2 years old, you know? And, like, I definitely, like, that Sasquatch impression, like, I did that for the first time when I was 19, and, like, I'll sometimes do that at a show just because I'm, you know, drunk and I think it's going to be funny, or, like...
Read the audience is probably what I would say.
No, it's because I was drunk. Like, I have this country song, like, this country music bit that I've been doing for a couple years, but it's just so, like, fun to do, and I really love it. And when I'm in, like, a hick town somewhere, man, they eat it up, you know? Like, so, like, you can... I think, personally, when I'm in town, I cycle through things, like, every few months, you know? Like, my 10, like, shorter sets, like 10 minutes here and there, which is normally, like, the amount of stage time you'll get at a showcase in Austin. I try to make that as frequent as possible. Like, whenever I write a new bit, put it in there. But as far as, like, longer sets, like when you're working at the comedy club or something like that, or headlining a show, do stuff that you've been doing for like a year, a few months, you know. It's like a band. Like, whenever people ask me that, like friends of mine that aren't comics, they're like, well, we were just here a month ago and you said this, you did the same 2 jokes, and I was like, I'm not a fucking prolific genius. I'm trying, like, that was only 2 months ago. Of course you heard the same joke in a set, you crazy person. What do you think, I'm just pumping out 30 minutes every month, dude? I mean, some people can do that, but I definitely come up with enough dumb stuff to fill 30 minutes, but I'm not going to do it on stage and torture anybody with it.
Because I've been interested in seeing, like, since everybody's recording everything nowadays, like, you can find a comic that just started, like, they just did Jimmy Kimmel or something, and you can go find them doing the joke and, like, seeing the perfection of it. And it's real interesting to me to watch someone work through all that creativity and figure out where exactly the timing is and stuff.
It's and I think it's like it's a very slow process, the way that it, like, they move in and out of your set. It's like a jelly wheel or something that's just, like, rolling along, and, like, you're picking up new jokes and old jokes are slowly, like, sloughing off. So it's never, like, hard to find, like, I'm not going to do this 10 minutes anymore. This is a new 10 minutes. It's like, I'm going to replace this 2-minute bit with this 2-minute bit. Oh, now I moved that up to the opener because I made it, like, I turned it from a 5-minute bit that wasn't working into, like, a 1-minute thing. Oh, I don't like it anymore. Now I replaced it with this. So it's just like... You know, just a long fart.
I think it is expecting too much to do 1,000 new jokes, because also you have to, like, live a life.
Yeah, and also, like, don't you like these jokes? Like, work on them. It's not going to be the same from the first time you told it to when you're still telling it 6 months later. Also, like, I see headliners on the road all the time. They come through Austin, I work with them, or whoever is working with them. They come back a year and a half later, and it's practically the same set. Like, that's just how it works. Like, there's no shame. Like, I think some comics put, like, a lot of pressure on themselves to, like, just churn out. But, like, it's, you know, sometimes you're not going to have enough time to, like, actually work on that and make it something that's your own and, like, really feel good about that set, you know?
Yeah, I like the different ways of seeing how the joke develops, though.
Yeah, I love it.
Or when you see them, like, you've heard the joke 2 or 3 times, and then you hear a new ending, and you're like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I see what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm, like, constantly trying to, like, when you get off stage, you're like, man, that didn't work, or, oh, I can't believe I said that. And you add that in there. Or, like, oh, this isn't working, so you, like, flip it, you know? You, like, flip, like, that's, like, one of the first things that, like, a comic told me was you just flip the premise and the punchline, or if you're tired of it, or if it's not working or something. But yeah, it is wonderful to watch there's so many, like, that's why you go to open mics and go to watch as much comedy as you can. It's like watching your friends
move the premise.
Yeah.
He's like, you can put the premise in the sketch at the beginning, middle, or the end, and you need to figure out where the funniest spot for it to go is.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Like, just that idea alone opened up so much for me when I was writing, because I was just sort of writing. Anytime I write a sketch, I kind of write it cold.
Yeah.
I'm like, what comes out of my hands? Go! Ah! Yeah. And then I go, okay, how do I make this work and function in a different way? And just him saying that to me has totally changed the way that I do an edit. And I'm like, oh, wait, don't tell them there, tell them here. And it's like, oh, it's so much better now.
Yeah. No,
like,
it's a wonderful, like, very simple trick that you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so wild to learn those sort of storytelling tricks.
Yeah.
And how you can
like,
say
it's
things.
still true, it's just in a different order.
Yeah,
because sometimes I feel weird, like I feel some sort of allegiance to the first way that I told it. I'm like, no, I'm gonna make it work, damn it. But man, sometimes it's just not working, dog. Switch it up. Yeah.
I definitely feel that way in sketch.
Yeah,
like,
you're like, no,
like,
I
this
fucking
is the
wrote it
world.
like this, and I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Why don't you like it? And then all you have to do is just change, like, switch 2 things around. You're like, oh, I guess it's the same. Fine, God, you win, audience. That this is all. It's for you, I guess. But congrats.
Yeah, that's why it's hard to be an audience of one when I'm like either the teacher or the leader of a group. I'm like, okay, how about we switch this beat with that beat and make it like this? And then they're like, but he has to do this first. And I was like, but does he? But does he now? But does he really?
But I think